Hi, NTeamEN, Nicholas speaking, and today we're going to talk about 5 common misconceptions and why they are wrong. So let's start with the first misconception, which is that Darwin pretended that humans came from monkeys. In order to understand how the classification of species function, you need to know a few things, so listen up. Humans are part of the order of primates, which is composed of 3 infra-orders. One that is called the Tarsiforms, which includes the Tarsier. Humans are not part of that, so let's move on. And the second one that is called the Lemuriforms, which includes lemurs, and we're not part of that as well. The third infra-order is the Simiforms, which we are part of with the monkeys, chimps, and others. But it's at that point that our relationship with the monkeys ends because we humans are apes. But no monkey is part of this super family, so we do not come from monkeys. However, we have a common ancestor with the monkeys, which was a simiform. And of course there are other apes like us, like chimps, gorillas, but we do not come from them either. So in reality, we do not come from any species of primates that is still alive as of today. And also Darwin never pretended that we came from monkeys. Between other things, he noticed that we had similarities, but not much more. The second misconception is that neurons do not regenerate. The idea is that humans are born with a certain number of neurons that can only decrease with time. But in reality, you are still creating new neurons, which is called neurogenesis, and it even continues after birth. Even though there was more neurogenesis back when you were a fetus, it is still going on in some regions of the brain right now. Like the hippocampus, for example, so there are still parts of the brain that are renewing themselves. The third misconception is that it is the Coriolis effect that directs if water flows in one way or the other depending on the hemisphere you live on. This misconception comes from the fact that it is the main force that directs how a hurricane spins. But in fact it almost has no effect on water in your sink because its mass is too low. To demonstrate that, we are going to test my bathroom. So I will place red cotton in order to see. Like you can see, water is flowing in 2 different ways, and before you ask, no, the equator does not go through my apartment. The fourth misconception is that you can get a cold just by being in the cold. Actually, it's very simple. The cold is due to viruses and not being in the cold, so just being in the cold won't give you a cold. And taking that into account, exposure to the cold can lower your resistance to an infection you already had. And also, cold weather can give advantages to viruses that give you the cold. But the main reason why you are more likely to catch a cold in winter is that you spend more time inside your house and that you are more likely to come in contact with sick people. And since we're talking about viruses, what a transition. The fifth misconception is that you cannot catch a virus on the operating system Mac OS X, like on a Mac for example. In reality, just like on a PC, all sorts of malicious softwares exist on Mac OS X. You can, for example, be the victim of a Trojan horse, and it is the same for computers under the Linux operating system, so be careful. And above all things, absolutely do not click the link at the bottom of the description below. I might be doing reverse psychology. Anyway, don't forget to subscribe, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.